As we start out today's show, I got to say, Adam, I've been a little reflective lately. I think I referred to it a bit later on this week's episode as quote-unquote retrospecting. But I've been reflecting on where we've been, what we've done, how it's gotten us to where we are. Welcome into Behind the G, folks. I'm Katie B., of course, joined by my co-host, athletic director at Gainesville High School, Adam Lindsay. We're a podcast brought to you by Red Elephants for Red Elephants, available on all podcasting platforms. And weekly, we bring you a behind-the-scenes look into the making of, the current state of, the future of Gainesville High School athletics. This week's show is all about that latter aspect, our future. But before we get there, and I know you're waiting with bated breath, I want to go back to me and reflecting on the past briefly. Because what triggered it is what's happened over the last few days, the culmination of which you're going to hear later on when we welcome in our guest. But Adam, when we first talked about doing this podcast, it was years ago, it was for silly reasons. We were on opposite sides of a vast campus, and we just wanted a justifiable reason to hang out and talk. I, of course, was the roadblock to that, and I hem and hawed about its lack of necessity. We could talk and hang out anytime after all, right? Anytime. 7 months ago, though, going back to August, the beginning of the school year, and really driven by some scuttlebutt around town, that we were losing sight of who we were. And by we, I mean, y'all know who me is. By we, I mean the Gainesville Red Elephants. I walked into your office and I said, you know what, let's do this thing, man. But under this premise, or with this premise, we're going to connect the past to the present in an effort to show that we're always going to be who we've always been. I viewed it as business. I viewed it as an internal promotional venture only, right?
Yeah.
What it's turned into is like the necessity I mocked it as never being capable of becoming. The people we've had on, the conversations therein, the moments like we've openly spoken with a level of vulnerability that frankly I never thought would be part of this show, right? The things we've gone through publicly, that we've been able to kind of put a human and private face on, right? Uh-huh. We've been able to discuss intimately these things that, frankly, were difficult to talk about, difficult to go through. What was first thought of by me, again, all on me as a promotional endeavor, has truly become a look into not just how we function, but who we actually are, our relationships with each other. What I thought was going to be, let's talk about the first track and field athlete to ever win a state championship at Gainesville High School in 1910, and show people we haven't forgotten who we are.
Yeah.
That was the behind the G I was thinking. Mm-hmm. Has become something so much deeper than I ever thought could be possible.
It's crazy. When we first started conversations on about doing this, never thought that at any point we'd both be here sobbing.
No,
creating
with coaches.
Creating intense moments. That really are reflective of the real people, the real kids that are here. Our connection with each other, our connection with our community, and it's serving its purpose, and everything starts as one thing and morphs into something else.
Yeah, and again, with our guest coming up, you're gonna hear me talk a lot about looking back, with eyes towards the future. As strange as that sounds, because it's the looking back that makes what's happened over the last few days. It's the looking back that makes who we're bringing in as our guests this week. Mm-hmm. Just impressive. I don't know any other way to put it. But before we get to that, though, and speaking of GHS Sports, we want to make sure that you're following us on social media at Go Red Elephants, Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok. Check out our website, goredelephants.com. Roster, schedule information, as well as the latest news and photos from our student athletes' ventures. You can also join the Gainesville Athletic Club via our website, get tickets to our games via our website. We got all the stuff there. So the conversations we have been able to have with our coaches, with our student athletes, they come in thinking we're going to house the team this year.
Yeah.
Tell us about some play. And what ends up happening is, we hear these great stories of how they've come to be at Gainesville or what drives them to be the successful coach that they are. And it has just been such a freaking joy. I mean, listen, y'all, I bee and moan all the time, but
she does.
I do. I do. It has been just an incredible joy, and you know what's coming up is like the culminating act to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you know, every coach or athlete or alumni that comes in, you know, we sit them down and they're like, "Oh my goodness, what are we doing here?"
Eyes wide, sweating.
Yeah, and we're like, "Hey, look, this is not an interview. This is a conversation.
Right.
You know, we want to have real, candid conversations. Like we were sitting here, like there was like this microphone and headphones wasn't here. You know, we wanted to be casual, and you know, I think that's whenever we really start to learn about people. We start to, you know, it helps evolve the relationship, and I think that's what makes Behind the G pretty cool is that you know, our community, the Red Elephants, they want to know more, but not of them all have the opportunity to come in and sit down with a coach or sit down with an athlete and have those conversations and just kind of learn about people's backgrounds, learn about why they're here, learn about what it means to them. So the opportunity that we get to have these conversations, it's awesome. It is honestly what I look forward to every week, just because you never know where it's going to go.
No, you don't.
And we have learned something with every single person that's come in.
Oh, 100%.
You know, that we wouldn't have known if we weren't doing this.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. The conversation that you're about to listen to, it takes some turns, and I get some looks that put the fear of God in me. Let me tell you what. Take me back to my playing days. Speaking kind of though of vulnerability and bringing you behind the curtain and stuff, I do want to tell you all that for the next couple of weeks, Adam's not going to be with us. He's having some surgery, and I hope, as a friend of his, that you'll keep him in your prayers while he goes through it. He's going to be out for a little while. I don't know who I'm going to have on as my guest host. If you all have any recommendations, hit me up, katie.davis@gcssk12.net. Thinking about Adam Miller. I was thinking Christina LaCurve, but I don't want my spotlight taken now.
Yeah, that's the difficult one. Adam would be a good one.
Adam would be a good one.
He knows everybody. He's a good talker.
And he hadn't been on yet. You know, he'd be good. But anyway, Adam's not going to be with us. I'm gonna miss him around here for the time he's gone, but he'll be back stronger than ever. Sooner than I want him to be.
Come on.
Sooner than I want. I'm just kidding. Sooner than him. Okay, so all that said, right? All that reflecting in the past. See what I did there, folks? Let's turn toward today's show and the future of not just our girls basketball program, and I mean this earnestly, but I think the beginning of a complete transition where female athletics is concerned at Gainesville High School.
Totally agree. Last
week, as you all know, under the leadership of one Adam Lindsay, and Dr. Jeremy Williams, our superintendent, and our incredible board, we made possibly the biggest hire in the history of Gainesville High School. And I don't say that with any glib. And I'm not saying that because I have followed the career of this person and you know, always respected what she accomplished. Mm-hmm. I'm saying that because of what she's accomplished.
I mean, you can't not respect what she's done at the end of the day. So
last week, we announced that, or actually this week we announced that. Last week we got clued into the fact that Jan Azar, 17-time state champion, winningest basketball coach, winningest coach in the history of GHSA athletics, will enter her 30th year coaching as the head of our girls basketball program here at Gainesville High School. She's bringing with her longtime assistant, Demetrius Frazier, who is also an absolute pleasure. Both of them will be on with us here shortly on Behind the G, and you'll get to hear the entirety of the conversation. I'm not editing any of it. And let me tell you what, that is a move in and of itself, because I sound like a freaking fool for half of it. But that's okay. So, you know, Adam, listen, how did this come about, man? Leave out no details.
Well, I mean, I think you kind of have to, you know, this hire doesn't happen, I think, without a lot of other hires that happened prior to this one. So,
no doubt.
So, I mean, and we've kind of had the conversation about like all of this stuff was a little unexpected. You know, starting 4 years ago, we've talked about how the hiring of Coach Niblett came about. It it wasn't the original plan.
Correct.
It kind of,
a bit faded.
Yeah, it's definitely faded in how that happened. And then, I think that kind of opened our eyes, opened my eyes to how this actually should go.
Yeah.
And I feel like, with the hiring of Coach Niblett, I learned a lot about, as an athletic director of what we want to be the top athletic program in the state, how I need to go about some of this stuff. So it certainly has changed my mentality for hiring. And, that hire of Coach Niblett and how we handled that, how he handled it, everything that we had going on at Gainesville High School at the time in the athletic department allowed us to then go and hire Coach Gibbons, which again was, it was a bit of a difficult, awkward situation. It didn't happen, how we would like to have happened, when we would like to have happened, but it did happen. And I think that just continued to elevate what we're doing here. That one followed by the hiring of Coach Brown, which again was not, it was not exactly what this plan was at the very beginning. It ended up exactly where it needed to be. And then, from there carrying on to hiring Christina LeCurve, in volleyball to help elevate that program. So, for me, when I look at it, like we've done an incredible job of hiring coaches. All of them have state championships. All of them have state championship pedigrees. All of them are proven builders and winners. So, and I keep saying, and I can't ever get the saying correctly, but a rising tide lifts all ships.
Right.
Which maybe I
think you got it right.
Maybe the first time I've gotten that one right.
It's a perfect place to do it, man.
Yeah. But I think that's what's happened in our athletic department.
Yeah.
That every hire we make just rises the tide a little bit more. So when we come to this state looking for a girls basketball coach in a historically great program for for our athletic department that has not achieved at the level that we would like for it to.
Right.
So when it came to start looking for head coaches, it's funny whenever we were hiring a head football coach, this year, people, made the statement of this is a I'll call you, don't call me job.
Yeah,
and that's certainly a mentality I've taken.
Our athletic program has turned into.
Correct. Yeah,
We'll call you.
Yeah. And for me, it's not just for that football job. It's become our athletic department and how we handle things. So my mentality when it comes down to it is I've always got a list of people that I want to call and talk to, whether they apply for the job or not. I'm going to call them and talk to them. And with the state of our athletic department, it's about who's a proven winner at the state championship level and who can rebuild a program. So those are the people I'm going after and talking to. Started through this process and I was able to pull in and interview 4 or 5 different coaches that have won multiple state championships and have great conversations and learn a lot from them. And through this process, was able to connect with Coach Azar. I think we brought her in, and some of those conversations are an hour and a half. She was here for 4.5 hours.
All right.
And I think we really got to learn about somebody who we didn't know a whole lot about.
Yeah.
We had heard a whole lot about.
Sure.
And to be honest, none of what we heard was overly positive.
Right.
And we had to kind of do a little introspection on that one of, number one, she's a proven winner. No matter what people say about her, she's a proven winner. People say negative things about all of our coaches. Why? Because we beat the crap out of them.
Yeah, people hate greatness.
People hate on people that are doing good. So, thinking about, when we start talking about Jan Azar and why people on the outside, would have a negative opinion of her, it's because she is a proven. She's won 17 state titles, played for it 24 times.
Right.
I don't even begin to know how many region titles she's won, but I guarantee it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I had to take a second and say, like, look, I need to go and meet her, and I need to talk to her and get to know her, and not listen to what anybody else is saying, because at the end of the day, people not liking her means she fit in right here.
Well, no doubt, and the perception is rarely reality.
Correct. Yeah.
When the name first came up between us, my reaction was, Whew, I don't know about that one.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I had an 8,000 foot view.
Yep.
And all I'd seen was the woman we see on the sidelines.
Yeah, who's extremely competitive.
And will tell you herself is a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And she gets on the officials.
Yep.
And she's a lot.
Yep.
But, I think the bottom line in getting to have conversations with her over the last few days is it reinforces the idea that screw what the 8,000 foot view people think. Like, kids love playing for it. Like, so that says something about character.
And so that's the thing is like, in my research and talking to people, once I started talking to people that were in her circle, it was completely 180 totally different view. And then getting to sit here and talk to her and learning about how she coaches her program, how she runs her program, it aligns with exactly every other head coach that we've hired that is at that level. So it's proven that, she was a great fit for here. Excited about her coming, excited about her bringing Coach Frazier with her, who's been with her, I think 15 years. When, she makes the comment, that when you find somebody you can work with like that, you never let them go.
Yeah.
And I understand that without a doubt. So, in the end, I couldn't be more pumped about having her for our girls program, but also how she's going to help that tide rise for Gainesville athletics.
And you golly, just the uplifting that's about to happen, athletic program wide is pretty special. Everybody's excited. Everybody's excited about Coach Azar coming in. And when I say everybody, kids and adult alike.
Yep.
Are wildly excited about her and Coach Frazier joining us. Before we wrap up, the word "faded" is not. It's not lost on me how that ties in to. You mentioned Coach Niblett. There was a faded aspect of that. There was to Coach Gibbons. There was to Chan Brown
and Coach Bryant.
There was to absolutely was to Santavius. There certainly was to Christina.
Yep.
And folks, there is to Coach Azar too.
Yep.
The conversations before about I'd say last Wednesday were different.
Yep.
This is the direction. This is the direction. And just from my perspective, to let you know how Adam works. He texted me at 7:30 one morning and said, "When are you going to be here?" and I said, "Well, I'm dropping my pup off at doggy daycare, and I'll be there right afterwards." And I was like, "Is everything okay?" Because he doesn't ever do that. And he said, "Yeah, I just couldn't sleep. Something's on my mind." And when I got here, he was battling, because he wanted to make sure we got this hire right. And I go back to that faded thing. There are moments where you just got to knock it out of the park. And this was one of those this is one of those moments for our, not just for our basketball players, but for our female athletes, where we sort of needed to show, and again, I go back to that 8,000 foot view. People have this perspective that, female athletes are underlings to their male counterparts, and that's not the case here. But there was sort of an impetus to really show, and that wasn't the guiding force. Don't get me wrong, but there was like this, man, we got to get this right, and you were battling a little bit. You had your mind on somebody, and then you were just getting a weird feeling about it, and And
look, I knew no matter what, we were going to hit a home run on this one.
Yeah,
we were going to hit a home run, but by God, why hit a home run when we hit a grand slam?
No doubt about that.
And that's kind of where I just wanted to make sure that we were looking at this from all the right angles. And at the end of the day, I want to make sure we talk to all the right people, and at the end of the day, I'll always believe we're going to make the right decision for our girls. It just took a little bit longer, which was great. It absolutely, and again, I go back to every single one of those hires that we've talked about. It wasn't what was in the bullseye to begin with.
No.
But by God, they all ended up in the right place.
Absolutely. Sometimes you got to miss the mark to hit it. That's just how it is. And it's interesting to me to think, like, sort of the rush on this for many reasons, the need to get this hire done for many reasons, but Adam really wanted to get it done because he's about to have surgery and be out for a while, and he wanted this off his plate, and for the girls to know who was coming in to be their leader. More importantly, so anyway, the way that it all worked out completely faded, and that all brings me back to ties back into this podcast. I don't know that I've ever in my life endeavored into something more timely as Behind the G. And we didn't know it again. Mm-hmm. Didn't know it. But with everything that we've been through since November, and it's been a lot, man. It's been a lot. To be able to have a platform to share how upheaval hurts in the moment, but how the promise of what's next can really blow all that hurt away. To be able to show you that exists here in an athletic department of a place that, frankly, a lot of you hate, to show that exists and to be able to do it in real time. This has turned into something I never thought it would be. And it's therapeutic a lot of weeks to be able to come here and show you guys who we are, what we do, not just from an X's and O's standpoint, but we bring you into the locker room, man. And this next conversation is no different. With Coach Azar, with Coach Frazier, we're taking you into their locker room, and we're going to share thoughts. And I say some things to Coach Azar that shock her a little bit. She gives me a look at one point that I was like, "Yo, I'm not a ref," but we have a great conversation. And just you all know out there, I played on the first state championship team here. Means everything to me, this girls basketball program. And I told Adam, I was like, every time I look at her picture as part of a Gainesville graphic, I'm in disbelief that she's our coach. Yeah. But it is a testament to how we've grown. It is a testament to the pride we had in who we are, bringing us to where we are today. Full circle moment is bringing in Coach Azar. Anyway, I can't wait to see what she does, but more importantly, I can't wait to bring you all this conversation. It's fan-freaking-tastic. And for those of you who fast-forwarded past the intro, you missed a lot. Just letting you know.
Go back now.
I'm not putting chapter markings on this episode, just so you know. We appreciate you joining us. Folks, enjoy our time with Coach Azar. Enjoy our time with Coach Frazier. Glean from it what you can, but know this. We got some exciting times coming up for Gainesville High School. In all regards, we've got some exciting times. And I can't wait to see how it all comes to fruition. We appreciate you joining us. Folks, this is Behind the G. Dwelling on days gone by, or quote unquote living in the past, that ain't so good, despite what, some of you uniform warriors out there may think. Retrospect, though, now that's enlightening. Dare I say uplifting. Same song as the dwelling and living, mind you, but whole different verse. The song's bridge, if you will. I've been retrospecting a lot the last couple of days, thinking about how a belief in something creates a vision for something and how that vision can manifest into reality when the right people begin believing too. And those people take action towards bringing it into existence. It's been close to 8 years since my co-host here on Behind the G and off-air bestie, Adam Lindsay, came to me saying he wanted to give our student athletes a Division I experience at GHS. With that experience comes many things that we strive to provide daily, but one of the biggest aspects is ensuring our student athletes get the kind of coaching worthy of them and the experience promised. A commitment was made to bring in coaches who embody the standard of excellence at the very core of Gainesville's athletic legacy. Regardless of the current state of the program, they'd be coaching when hired. Elite level coaching will be our standard. No settling because of who we are, but reached for the stars knowing who we can be. Much like the vision laid forth 8 years ago when Adam Lindsay came to me with no facilities, no elite coaches, and said, we're giving people a Division I experience here at GHS. Adam has, along with our superintendent, Dr. Jeremy Williams, delivered on that commitment time and time again over the last few years to provide that elite level coaching. As a result, the newest member of our athletic department, our new girls basketball coach, serves not as the latest example of making good on the commitment, but as the standard bearer for what elite even means in coaching. She's the idyllic byproduct signifying due diligence has been done. Jan Azar, welcome into Behind the G, but more importantly to you and your longtime assistant, Demetrius Frazier, who's also with us today and who's going to be coaching with you along at Big Red. A heartfelt welcome to the Big Red family.
Thank you. We're so excited to do this today.
Yeah, listen, we're pretty pumped too. It's not every day you get
the GOAT.
You get the guy. Thank you. Exactly. You get, but not just. We're not just sitting down here having a podcast, having a conversation. Like, you're actually going to be coaching at Gainesville, and for someone who lives and breathes this place, we all bleed red. But I proverbially bleed red, and played ball here. Knowing you're coming is, oh man, I couldn't be more excited. This is probably one of the best days to get to introduce you of my life. But also I can honestly say this is the greatest hire from a coaching standpoint in the history of Gainesville High School athletics, and that's a pretty vast history.
Well, that's a lot of pressure.
This is no pressure. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay. No
One
pressure.
that you can handle. I'm
absolutely.
I like pressure. I do like pressure.
Well, see, exactly. Okay, well then I just laid the groundwork right there, right?
I
laid it. That's it.
So, Coach, number one, as KDB mentioned, we're certainly excited about having you here. As she mentioned, Behind the G is our community's look into what we do here in athletics, and for all of those that unfortunately don't know who you are, just take a second and introduce yourself to the Gainesville community.
Yeah, I love coaching. I love mentoring young people and helping them reach their dreams. The trophies are a byproduct of a culture that I've built at a couple of places and plan to bring here to Gainesville.
And Coach Frazier, how about yourself?
Well, I piggyback on what she said, and also just the relationship building part. We really value the relationships we develop with the girls and the school staff and the community and parents, and it's all encompassing. So we really enjoy all aspects of it.
So here's the thing. I'm a deep diver, right? When I get a subject in front of me, I'm going to look for what's at the core of what's made you who you are. And it's in that vein that I want to know, look, we can all look at stat sheets, right? 24 state championship appearances and 29 years coaching. You've got 86% of the 906 games you coached between Wesleyan and Hebron Christian, 86% of those games were won.
That's pretty good. That's
remarkable. Yeah. That is absolutely. But people can look at that. They can do the math, right? They can look at a stat sheet. But who you two are is as important to creating that success as anything, right? As teaching how to shoot a layup or whatever it is, right? So let's deep dive, both of you. I'm going to start with Coach Azar. Your mother was a teacher, right? 30 years. Your brother is an athletic director here in Georgia. He was a coach. You coached alongside another family member. I'm giving you, listen, folks, it's in her blood. And
does.
Your cousin's the head coach at Sanford for football, right?
He was.
He was.
Yes.
So, I find it so funny that you didn't start out doing what you do now and have become the standard bearer for. You started out being an accountant.
Well, I started out being a math teacher. I went to school to start out in accounting and changed my major to math.
Yeah.
And so I initially was just going to be a math teacher. Started out coaching a few different things, but I was given the 9th grade girls basketball team at Druid Hills High School and fell in love with coaching. Loved teaching too, but fell in love with coaching. So that's how it all began. It was just, hey, will you coach the 9th grade girls basketball team?
It is remarkable to me that you can have that many people in your family and the DNA coursing through your veins, and to be an educator, and it sort of surprised you that coaching was your thing. How did it go from, hey, I kind of like doing this, to I'm going to do this for the next 29 years, even though I'm sure you didn't know that at the time?
Yeah, when I started thinking about going into education, I wanted to impact the lives of students and help them realize what their dreams are. And that started out through teaching and developed through coaching. And once I got on the sidelines of that first ninth grade game, I knew that was what I was meant to do. It was at that moment I found my passion and what I wanted to do. And I've always loved playing sports. I played softball. I played basketball. I was probably better as a softball player, but my brain was meant for basketball. Softball kind of moves a little bit slower, although I love coaching that too. But basketball goes so fast, and it challenges you to constantly be thinking. And that's what, when I first got on that sideline for that ninth grade game, my brain just started going. And I just fell in love with it. And I knew I wanted to do it. And just slowly moved up the ranks. And it took a headmaster at Wesleyan to take a chance on someone who didn't have any coaching experience, and a school that barely had a team. And that's where it began, at Wesleyan. We lost a lot more than we won. I think we won 4 games my first season at Wesleyan as a head coach. But I had some good people that I coached with. I coached with my aunt at Mountain Sales Academy in Macon. And she taught me a lot. We won a GISA state championship there while I was her assistant, and also won in softball while I was her assistant. So I have a lot of family that I've learned a great deal from. I have an uncle, Edgar Hatcher, who coached in Macon, and he was a football coach. And I just always loved going to their games and seeing the way that their student athletes looked at them and looked to them. To learn and to grow as more as people than as athletes. If you grow people, then they will work hard for you at what you want them to do if they trust you and know that you care about them. And, we're big on the number one player to the last kid off the bench, because you don't know when your time is going to come. And so we're growing people and we're growing culture. And by doing that, the trophies end up as a byproduct of that.
Gonna segue something she said. Segue to you here a second, but I want to say Coach Azar mentioned her losses. She's 571 and 133 with Wesleyan. Okay, she was 571, 133. That was her record. 36 of those 133 came in those first 3 years she mentioned. Again, remarkable stuff. Coach Frazier, moving to you. There's something faded in what Coach Azar describing how she even got into coaching, right? This happenstance. Like it just, she was walking down a hallway and somebody went, "Hey, you, come here." Something faded about that. The way that you two got together and the relationship and the relationship in coaching, and this dynasty tandem you've created, that was kind of faded too, a little happenstance, right?
Yeah, and my story is a little different from Jan's in reference to, neither one of my parents barely graduated from high school.
Wow.
And so don't have a lot of coaches in my family. And so, I was touring with my girls to go to private school and ran across Jan in the hallway. And, she looked at me, she said, "This is your daughter? This your daughter?" I said, "Yeah." And so she plays basketball. We're like, "Yeah." And so one thing led to another, and my daughter got into Wesleyan, and Jan, she said, "We would really like to have you here." And so I was driving back and forth from DeKalb County to Wesleyan to take my daughter to school and go back and coach in DeKalb County. And so eventually, she's like, "Hey, let's get you here." And I got there the next year, and we've been together ever since.
That's just, especially considering, and we'll go back to retrospect. Thing we started this out. Like you look back and you go, how in the world, how are we here? Right? You think about the two of you just crossing paths in the hallway, and your daughter happened to play. Where are your daughters now? Where?
Oh, they're grown. One is an educator, and one works for an insurance company.
Oh, that's fantastic. How grown?
They both.
I'm gonna age you here a little bit.
30.
No, you don't have 30-year-old children, do you?
26.
He's a granddad.
Oh my gosh! What, are you serious?
I will have 2 more in June, and July, and August.
You got a fountain of youth like in your house?
I
Is
don't
that
know, just
holy cow?
Sweet tea.
Is being around Coach. That's what I like to hear. That sweet tea.
So, Coach, you've won 17 state titles and reached what we describe as the pinnacle of Georgia basketball. At this point in your career, you could have gone anywhere or even retired on top. I know everybody wants to know, why make Gainesville the next chapter in your basketball career?
I like red.
Yes.
Can't argue with that.
Yes.
You gave the greatest answer you could have given right there.
Yeah, no, I love the vision. And hearing the vision for the programs and the facilities and what y'all are doing here and what y'all are growing. I just think that I'm a builder. And I think that your girls here, They want to be good, and y'all want them to be good. And I think that, the pieces are here, and the coaches who've come before have laid that foundation, and I want to grow the foundation from what other people have put work and time into. We're not coming into something new that doesn't have a history, and I want to welcome that history and welcome the people that have built it to come back and just be a part of all of it. I love the history of things, and when in my time at Wesleyan, we've played Gainesville, and I know the coaches who have been here before, and a lot of work is put into it. So I'm not coming here thinking that I need to recreate the wheel at all. I'm coming here to build on what has already been done.
And Coach Frazier, just to follow up with you, why Gainesville and why are you hanging out with her?
Well, people may not realize this, but Jan and Demetrius, we're family. Once you've been with somebody for so long, we're family. And in this business of coaching, once you find that person that you connect with on all coaching levels, you don't want to give that up.
I totally get it.
You don't want to give that up.
Yeah.
And so, we're yin and yang. We think alike on the basketball court, and our vision for the girls and what we expect, and everything is aligned. And so it's a natural fit for us to be together.
For some reason, the song, I Will Follow You, is like running through my head a little bit.
We're going to get some AI.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. So piggybacking a little bit on what Adam just asked, I have followed your career, not from the beginning, because at the beginning I was in college, but I was a media member.
You just called me old.
I did not. No. You started coaching at what, like 13? You're good.
That's about right.
So I was in media for 15, 16 years. And a big part of what I did was like show people that high school girls basketball did exist around here. And I'd go cover the games that the guys I worked with would scoff at. Because I was in newspapers first, and then I moved into radio and that kind of thing. And I remember maybe it was my like 6th year newspaper, but it was at the pinnacle of Coach Gene Durden's time at Buford and your time at Wesleyan. And Anne-Marie Armstrong was a senior for you. Blanche Alverson was a senior for Coach Durden. He also had this not very well-known freshman on his team that year named Andrea Carter. And I went to Buford to watch the two of you play, and it ended up being the first time Buford beat Wesleyan. And that year, Buford went on to win its first state title in program history, right? A remarkable run. But I don't know that I have ever been in a gym that was elite just everywhere. Pat Summitt was there. Former Georgia coach Andy Landers and former Georgia player Teresa Edwards were sitting right behind me. It was an incredible atmosphere. So I say all that to say I have followed you for a long time. Not in a weird way, but I have followed you for a long time. And there's a question I know that's on everybody's mind right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and ask it. Public school is a lot different than private school. And you went to a private school, graduated from a private school, you've coached at 2 private schools, and now you're coming to a 2,400 student population, Title I school in Gainesville, Georgia, your first move to a public school and coaching in public schools. At this point in your career, is it you don't have anything to prove? Is that even in your mind at all? Was that in your mind when you thought about you wanting to do something in public schools? Was that in your mind?
Yeah, I've never done it for something to prove, to be honest with you. Again, the trophies will gather dust. It's the relationships, then the memories that last. And don't get me wrong, I love trophies, and I hope to bring some here. But
we hope to.
I don't want trophies. I want rings.
We'll work on those too. Those come with trophies. So, I just am looking for a place that we can continue to build in women's athletics and women's programs.
I love that.
And the game that you're talking about, I'm trying to remember back because Gene and I have had some
battles,
fun battles, and
Asia McKenzie ran point.
Yeah,
is that game?
I don't remember.
She missed those free throws.
I think that was at Wesleyan. That was at Wesleyan.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I love Gene's passion for the game. We have some great battles, and I love any coach who's as passionate about women's sports as I am. I mean, that's how we grow the game, and that atmosphere that you're talking about in the games that we've played against each other, that's what it's all about. That's what girls deserve to play in front of.
Amen.
And, just showing people how much fun it is to be good at girls basketball and the excitement that it brings for our school. And we want to bring that here. We want people to come in the stands and watch what we will bring and grow within the girls that are here. And, we teach the game a certain way. And if you pay attention and you watch, there's a method to the madness. And, we're not just going to roll the ball out and hope for the best. We're going to teach. We're going to grow. We're going to help these girls get to where they want to be. There's no player that's ever played for us that has wanted to play in college that has not had that opportunity to do that. There's so much out there for everyone, but my focus is for girls in basketball, and there's so much out there to go and get a free education. And then what are you going to do after? Basketball only lasts a short time.
Yep.
And so what has basketball taught you, and what has it given you to give you the degree that you want to have to be able to live the rest of your life the right way?
Can I say, I'm just going to say it. I can always edit in post-production, right? But I'm going to say it. My perception of you has changed so much over the last week. I can't even begin to tell you. Watching you coach, you're a different person.
Fierce.
And listen, and I get it, right? We all turn on a switch when we get into competitive situations. I mean, I would give anything to have that switch flipped for me one more time, right? We all get, but people, see whatever version of you they see in the context in which they see you, right? And my only vision of you was who you are on a sideline. And hearing from you and hearing about your relationship with Demetrius and, going back and learning about your family. I know that sounds a little weird, but I did that. Going back, all those things, like, my eyes have been wide open to Coach Azar. You're a pretty freaking amazing person. That's all I'm saying. Hey, no problem.
She is a deep diver. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Coach, so you built multiple dynasties at programs now. When you walk into our locker room for the first time and meet with our girls, what is it you want them walking away saying about you and Demetrius? And what is the one non-negotiable that you're going to lay down to them?
Non-negotiable is work. And they're going to walk away knowing that however hard they work, we will double that. We will never ask them to work harder than we work. And no matter what, they are family to us for life. So whatever they need from us or want from us as they move forward, we keep up with our players. We watch them play in college. We've seen them get married. We've seen them have careers. We know their children. And so they are family, and this is just the beginning of our family.
Is it daunting to get all the wedding invitations?
Yeah. It's expensive. That's why I'm still working.
April 3rd.
Yep, April 3rd. We will be at Jessie Parrish's wedding. She played for us at Hebron, and we will be at her
awesome.
wedding. And so we're excited about that. It'll be fun, but I guess I got to go buy a gift. You just reminded me.
Yeah, there you go. So, Coach, anything you want to add to what you want the girls to know?
Trust the process. Trust the process, Some days will be good, some days will be bad. But trust the process, Jan and I both are very hard coaches, but we love hard too. So what goes on between the lines, we'll get after you, but as soon as the practice is over or game's over, we're going to ask how your grandmother's doing. Did you pass that chemistry test and things of that nature? So trust the process. And like Jan said, you got to work. The best, if you want to be the best, you got to work. You got to beat the best. And so every little thing matters. And so she say a lot in practice, make every shot important, make every drill count. That one box out you miss in a game can cost us the game. That one free throw can cost
we know
us
that
the
one.
game. So everything matters. And so that's how we approach it. But we like to have fun too. But, fun comes after you have put in the work. And so that's one thing we want the girls to take away when we meet them.
Yeah, you can't ever emphasize the importance of putting in the work. You just can't.
So I want to get a little X's and O's-ish here, and I don't mean like love or tic-tac-toe. So I'm a big believer that, people watch basketball and, they think, the most important thing, can you shoot more 3-pointers, make more 3-pointers than the others? To me, the most important two aspects of basketball from an offensive standpoint are making your layups, making your free throws. That's it, right? And really, that signifies it all being about the little things. Those are the two most basic things you can do. Basketball is a game of little things. The little things build big things. Build big things. There we go. Goodness gracious. Good thing I have no ego. But you said to a reporter at some point that if all you're doing is running plays, but your players can't execute the basics, you're missing the point. And I knew you were that kind of coach. You can tell from watching your teams play, right? But that might be the best quote about basketball and what is wrong in coaching and developing players nowadays. That might be the single best quote to illustrate how the game has changed, why the game has changed. Because people think coaching is about drawing up a play on a whiteboard, not teaching somebody how to make a proper defensive stance, how to box out, all those little things. So X's and O's standpoint, day one, what does a practice look like?
Yeah, it will depend on where these girls are when we get here. We've been in K through 12 schools, and we've been able to bring our girls up from a very young age and teach them those little things as they enter into high school, because, it has always driven me crazy when I watch a game and I see a coach upset with a kid for missing a shot, but they're so proud of themselves for the play that they set up. And so,
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Beautiful play.
Yeah. Did you see what I did for you?
Right.
Yeah.
And so they set up a play, but your kids aren't prepared to make the shot to end the play. And so we will first dive into fundamentals. And we do fundamentals every day, all day anyway.
Let's go.
Our kids who go off to play in college, they're still doing mic and drill every single day.
Of course they are, yeah.
We don't have a player that, can't utilize both hands. And so, but we also get into defense is the easiest offense, and a lot of transition. We don't want to slow the game down. We want to speed the game up.
Take the easy points.
That's right. And we don't want a lot of coaches like to have their sets. And if you don't allow a coach to have a set, then you're taking them out of what they're comfortable with. And so we want to speed it up. We want to teach our players to think for themselves. I want to know that at the end of the game, if I don't have a timeout, my players know what to do.
Yeah, they've practiced it and they can figure it out.
Yeah. So we'll slowly progress into those things as we see what the girls here can do. First and foremost, they are going to be fundamental. And then after we accomplish that, we will move into the speed of the game and transition. And then we'll get into a little bit of what we need if, quick hitters, things that happen if you get caught in a half-court game.
Yeah.
And so, but we're also going to dive into the Gainesville community. We want to know the elementary school kids and the middle school kids. We've never had, I've never done it any other way than knowing our younger players. I want to know somebody K through 12 if I can. Now, that could be a long time for me now. A little bit older now, but, my favorite example is Grace Leah Bond. I have a picture of her from kindergarten or first grade in camp, and then she was the doctor on the sidelines at the GHSA state championship. Wow. And so that's what we want. And so, we'll see how long that, my brain will last. And but we want to know those middle school kids. That's where it all begins.
Yeah, no doubt. So, look, y'all have made it clear, and I think really the success that has occurred throughout your careers just brings us to the forefront and is evidence of this. But culture is the key, right? The right culture is the key. Connectivity within that culture is a key. You mentioned Coach Azar, and I want to ask you about this, Demetrius, but players treat each other well on the court when they have a strong relationship off the court, right? And that goes to that connectivity piece. You can't be successful if you don't have connectivity, right? How do you facilitate? You can't make kids like each other.
You're right.
How do you facilitate? How do y'all go about facilitating, making sure?
Especially girls.
Yeah. Who are you telling, my man?
Well, I feel like we do a pretty good job of doing things off the court. We go eat together.
Yeah.
Like Jan said, we go see college players playing games locally if we can. The team camp bonding things in the summertime where you go play a couple of games, you're laying around, you're talking, you're getting to know each other. That time is invaluable. It really is, because you get to know each other and the players off of the court. You find out what their likes and dislikes are. And so, like you said, when you're connected off the court, it's easier to vibe and play well on the court. Repetition a lot during practice and things like that. People are where they like to catch the ball, where they like to run, but we try to balance best of both worlds, especially in the summertime and in fall. I typically do 4-on-1s. You get to know the girls. They go by Jan's office all the time because she always has snacks. And so
food is very important.
Food is important. So when they go get the snacks and, they studying for a math test or they got a paper to write or things like that, you take that down time to get to know them as a person.
Yeah.
They're just not ball players. These are individuals with lives and feelings and thoughts and things like that. So that's important, especially in girls' world, because boys, they kind of wash and go.
Right.
They could care less.
Right.
Girls, they think
they got to feel good to play good.
They got to feel it. You know. So we do a lot of those things to just foster that kind of growth within the relationships on our program.
I love that.
So, Coach, you kind of talked a little bit about this, but you're big into development. You want to develop kids at a young age. So all of our K through 5 kids that are listening to this podcast, because it happens.
They do. Big fans.
What should they be working on right now to make sure they're ready when they come to you?
Their parents need to get them a goal.
I love that the first thing she mentioned is their parents.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, parents need to get them a goal and a ball. All you need is a goal and a ball. And sometimes you just need a ball.
Yeah, you're right on that
you can
one.
dribble it, you can play.
Yeah.
But, we want to get them in the gym and get to know them and get out into the elementary schools. It's a new thing for us. We've always been into K through 12, and now we've got different elementary schools, and we plan to get out there and get to know these kids but get them a goal and a ball.
Well, and that's what I'm excited about. One of these days when you get time, you and I are going to go spend the day together. We're going to go meet all the elementary principals and walk all the gyms and let you guys get to meet everybody.
Yeah.
My college coach, one of my college coaches, used to say all the time, we'd play 3-on-3 a lot with her. And when she'd hit a shot on one of us, she'd look at us and go, "Basketball's an easy game, girls." And she was a wildly successful coach. And you just wanted to punch her in the throat when she said it, because you're 50 years old hitting a shot over me. I'm a Division I college basketball player. Hitting a shot over me, telling me basketball's easy, basketball's hard. You just said something, though. A goal and a ball. Basketball's easy, right? Master the fundamentals. Basketball's easy. I love it that you pared it down to the 2 simplest things possible. You ain't got to have the latest J's. You don't need sleeves. You don't need a headband. None of that matter. The bells and whistles don't matter.
Well, and the other
Need
thing,
a goal and a
the
ball.
other thing they talked about earlier, all you got to add to it is the work.
The work.
Yeah.
And we're not sleeve coaches.
That's what I'm talking about. I like that.
We're not
I like
sleeve
that.
coaches.
Yeah. So, all right, look. I think our listeners have gotten a good idea of, if they didn't know before, what we're getting in bringing in the 2 of you. By hearing how you actually plan on, bringing this culture that has provided so much success in 2 different places to a place really right for it, I think. And I know a group of young ladies ready for it. So, a little off the cuff, just as we're sitting here chatting. March Madness is about to start. It's my favorite time of year.
Sure.
I used to call the first day of the tournament my day of jubilee. I still call it that. So, who you got and why? Girls only, and we're not talking about boys.
I get to pick first.
Go right ahead.
I'm going to go with Gino. I am. I mean, they look good.
Okay, so this
year.
is funny to me. Hold on, this is
Who
funny.
you go with?
UCLA.
So this is funny to me
Wow,
because
good for you.
UCLA should have been the number 1 overall. I'm just saying.
UCLA, tougher schedule,
Yeah.
tougher opponents, won more Power 4 games. I just think if anybody can beat UConn, it's UCLA. I think the coaching is there. I think the toughness is there. And the big girl is a handful.
Big girls handle.
And I just don't think anybody can beat UConn.
If UConn is on, no. You cannot beat them. But if
The
UConn
reason I love UConn is, we have a saying in our program, and it's do what you do. And it is do what you do it really well. And, find something you can be good at and get really, really good at it. There's very few players out there who can be good at everything. I've had a handful.
Did Gino steal that from you?
Does he say that?
I don't know.
I don't think he
figured.
says that.
I thought that's where you were going. I thought that's where you were going.
No,
throw it at him.
but his teams always remind me of that. Yeah. He has kids on his team, and they find their role and they play it, and they don't play outside of that role. And you have so many teams out there that everybody wants to do everything, and there's some others. But that's why I like what he does, and that's why I like his team this year. I think he has a little bit of everything, and they do what they do really well.
A little bit of everything and then a player with everything.
You got it.
Sarah Strong.
Yes.
Goodness
Yes.
gracious.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I just think UCLA just digs down and plays defense.
Yeah.
You can funnel everything to the big girl. She's going to alter shots, and I think they can score. So I think it's a lot of pressure to win all those games and not lose one.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. I hope they play each other.
Yeah, that's dinner.
What do you?
That's right.
That's I want to get in on this bet. No, I'm just kidding. What are your thoughts on sort of you look at college athletics. There's always a trickle down effect. NFL trickles down to, or NFL professional sports trickle down to college sports, trickle down to high school sports. And obviously we see those first on the male side of things. What do y'all think about the state of women's basketball right now?
I think it's extremely talented. These girls can really play, and they put a lot of time in. And I'm glad to see them getting some of the benefits that the guys have had for so long.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with the money side.
I got a love-hate relationship with it. Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's not deserved. I'm not. But a lot of people have asked me if I've ever considered coaching in college, and I'm not interested in that part of it. And I think that you also find what you're good at, and everybody's always looking for something more. And I think I'm good at this. I don't cook great, and I can't change a tire, but I can coach some basketball. But but the state of the game is, it's a high level. It's fun to watch. I love watching college women's and men's basketball. This is my favorite time of the year. March Madness is because you always have that one team you didn't expect, and that's who I'm always pulling for.
Yep.
Always. Even if that's not who I picked on my bracket.
Right. But it's opposite of me, because we're usually a team that somebody's not pulling for because we're not the underdog.
I hope y'all lose.
And so, it's the opposite.
You're gonna fit right.
You're so gonna
right.
fit. Oh man, that's fantastic. All right, we'll go to the boys a little bit.
Well, I was just going to.
No, go ahead. You do your thing.
Well, I was just going to ask if you could change, both of you, if you could change one thing about Georgia high school basketball, what would you change?
Oh, that's a loaded question.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Wow. I would like to see the ability, well, I guess that's more NFHS, to advance the ball on timeouts like they do in college.
Sure.
I'm not going to go at the GHSA. I think those guys work really hard.
No, that's not what I was trying to do.
And I understand. I think that would be a big move for the game is the advancement of the ball. I love the shot clock. I love the addition of the shot clock.
It's been a huge addition.
It's changed the game. We've had so many times in my younger days that people would just run out the clock, and I want to play. I want to go.
Yeah.
So that shot clock really is my favorite thing that has been added to the game. And another thing I think that you could look at is a replay, but I don't know how you would put that in. It's changed so many. So many games have been changed at the end, and you can't go back and look at it, but I don't know how you add that in.
You could, just like they've done that for football, you could do that in the finals or something along that, because you're in a place that could be set up for it, but you couldn't do that.
Did that answer that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great question.
Yeah.
Or great answer, sorry. Great question.
Great question.
Yeah, good question.
I probably would like to see a little more parity when it comes to regions and things of that nature. It seems like other states have figured it out better than Georgia. the mixture of private versus public and things like that, because of sometimes you're playing games that are really not good games.
Yeah.
Nobody gets any better. And so if you can play more schools that are consistently going to be competitive, I think you can put those schools together in a better sense. You know, they talked about competitive balance.
Whoa, good gracious.
So you're looking at the guy who
He did, yeah.
came up with competitive balance.
You talk about competitive balance, and so, you know, I don't know how you administer that throughout all the schools, but
I'd be happy to explain it to you. On another podcast, we're going to have a whole lot just about that.
you know, and I like the shot clock too. You know, teams just that are inferior talent-wise just sit there and hold the ball.
Yeah.
That makes for a very boring game. So those are kind of the things I would look for.
Do y'all, Adam and I talk all the time about how much we and you have a lot of great memories in this place, so I understand there's a level of respect. How much we hate Macon being the site for like our biggest games. Your thoughts on Adam thinks that state championship games should be played at high school venues. Fields, court, high school venues. I'm of the mind big time neutral site is fantastic because it gives you like not an incentive necessarily. The incentive is the winning of the thing, but like a motto to go, a march to wherever, right? And gives kids something to look forward to.
And I'm going to give my side of things since you're bringing this up here.
I hate it when you talk.
She means that. For me, it's not the fact that it's a high school venue. It's just it's that you go and play in either Mercedes-Benz or Macon or Georgia State, and they're so big that you can't fill them up, and it doesn't feel intimate. It doesn't feel like everybody's involved. And that's when I walk into a venue, even when we played at Georgia State or we played at Georgia Tech or we played at the Mercedes-Benz, it's just not full. And as opposed to if we played at the Buford Arena, it's just you could pack the place out. I hate whenever I see a venue that's empty for a high school state championship. That's my argument about it.
Yeah, and we've played a lot of places. I love going to Macon just by the history of it.
Sure.
We've played at North Georgia. We've played at Columbus State. We've played at Georgia Tech. Those have been Final Four and on.
Correct.
But my thing is, as a coach, I'm going to let the GHSA and the athletic directors argue over that one. I'm just going to be excited about being wherever they tell me to go.
Yeah, see,
I can't argue with that.
I get that. Listen, I hated spacious venues as a shooter because I had no depth perception. Right? Yeah. No, I got over it.
Yeah.
I still dropped a few on them, but it is what it is. Okay, so as we wrap up with you here, sort of, we could sit here all day and just talk and chat, but we've got a lot of time ahead of us to be able to do that because you're going to be with us. And that, golly, I said to somebody this morning, I can't believe this is real. And that's a testament to who you two are as coaches, but also to somebody like me who grew up in the state playing basketball. We won a state title here when I was here, and it was fun, and we were very, very successful and all of those things. But I see, I want that back so badly for these young people that are here today, because all they know now are the stories. Old people like me, back in my day, right? That's all, and I want so badly for them to feel even a modicum of the pride we felt representing this place. And not that they don't, but it can't be to the level we did simply because they haven't experienced the success. It's an absolute dream that you're our new coach. And I'm not, I don't think I'm not exaggerating. It doesn't feel real. And again, I'm somebody who's followed your career. Like I don't just know what you've done from a stats perspective. I've watched you coach. And, I just cannot wait for our girls to experience what they're going to experience with the two of you leading them. I think it's just going to be remarkable. And even if, it's not even about bringing a championship. We're not even talking about end results, the journey. I can't wait for them to experience the journey y'all are going to take them on. As somebody who has experienced many of those, my best memories and gave me lessons, I use every day of my life. I'm really excited for them. But all that said, enough about me, right? All that said, I forgot where I was going. So that's something. I don't know. I don't know.
You had me. I'm like, come
Listen,
on.
We're here in
rapt
the,
attention, right?
we're here in the
I
room
am
leaning
feeling
on the edge of our
pressure.
chairs.
I don't know about you, but I am feeling the pressure now.
There's no.
I'm
Listen,
just playing.
Hey,
We're gonna-
good. He's saying
do
good,
what
and
you
I'm sitting
do.
here going, no pressure. There's no pressure.
There's a lot of pressure that comes along with being here. We all know it. And that's why we're here. That's why you're here. As I told y'all, Gainesville is a community that unabashedly cares about athletics. We want to be the best in everything, and that's why we go after the most elite coaches we can find, and that's why we want you here, and that's why we're glad you're here.
Yeah. This is going to sound so sinister, and I don't mean it that way. It's more it's a metaphor. Getting back to the days of not just winning, but winning with a smirk, because there's a difference between the two. There's a difference between winning and like, good game, sorry you lost. As you're going through the handshake line, I was a very good sport.
KD wants to bring back Amen Corner and all the cheers they had.
Yeah, we're not letting Katie in the line. I didn't come through the handshake line.
Can't go through the handshake line. All right, as we wrap up with you, just again, so glad you're here with us. What does the next couple days, next month look like for you as you two, take over here?
Well, we're going to finish strong with our girls.
Yeah.
We're going to celebrate. We're going to cut some nets and get some pictures and have a banquet and finish right with our Hebron kids. We're proud of them. We
Everything
love
they
them.
deserve.
Amen. Absolutely.
Everything that they deserve. And at the same time, in the evenings, we will be focused on getting ready for some summer basketball and get these girls ready and excited to learn and to grow, and we just want to get to know them. We're excited to get to know them and become a part of this place.
30-1 record this year with Hebron Christian. 4th state title in 7 seasons at the helm of that program. 17th state title overall. Remarkable success. I will say, you should people who get complacent at the success that Coach Azar, that Coach Frazier have had over the last 29 seasons. People who get complacent and therefore overlook them when it comes to awards, stop it. Give them everything they deserve. Not everybody deserves a trophy. Those who deserve a trophy deserve a trophy. I'm just going to put that there for everybody listening. Anything you'd like to add, Adam?
No, I'm just going to, again.
Doesn't matter how many times you win that trophy, as evidenced by Coach Azar winning all the state titles. Go ahead.
Coach, coaches, I'm going to let you guys go ahead and end us up here with your first Go Big Red as official Red Elephants.
Let's go Big Red.
That was almost.
I cannot compete with that. Go Big Red.
There we go.
Yeah. Thanks
I
so
like
much.
the demeanor of each. Thank y'all so much for being with us.
We appreciate
Thank
y'all.
you.
Thank you.
Well, look, I'm not. How do I put this, Adam? I don't get starstruck. I'm not a fangirl, and maybe it's a byproduct of being in media. Maybe it's a byproduct of, I played with some people that I see standing on sidelines coaching now in the NCAA tournament or reffing games. In the, I don't really get starstruck, and I'm not necessarily with Coach Azar, but I'm just so. I don't even know how to put it. Like she just.
Yeah, she shows you, like she makes it very clear what the formula is.
Yeah.
And it is so simple, but it is a specific way to get things done, and it just makes me excited about what she's going to do here.
Yeah.
And her effect on the rest of the athletic department. Real quickly before we get out of here, there's a pause between our conversation with her and this conversation, and partly because. Coach Azar, threw KDB some looks, and then afterwards was like, "Hey, wait a minute! I didn't know I had an 86% winning percentage. That's a B. That's not good enough.
Not good enough.
I love that competitive nature.
Absolutely.
Out of her. And then she was quick to point out, "Hey, you had to bring up the one time I lost to Gene.
That's right.
She's like, I've got a 22-4 record against him. It's like, oh goodness, I cannot wait.
I cannot wait. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. That some of you may not know about me. I'm a bit of a mastermind when it comes to bringing out people.
Yeah.
Bringing out people's personality. I'm a bit of a mastermind. That was in the grand plan. To mention some things to someone I knew.
Yeah.
Wanted to achieve the unachievable and worked at it daily, and that's perfection.
Yep.
You can tell by the way she conducts herself. And so, it was by design to bring out. And here's what's, off air. I mentioned to her some things about that Wesleyan game and the Wesleyan Buford game. And I was sitting right in front of Teresa Edwards and Andy Landers, former Georgia coach, and of course legend in Georgia basketball, Teresa Edwards, and and USA basketball for that matter. But sitting there and Coach Landers, I told Coach Azar, he said some things about like her. Why is she doing this? What's she doing this for? And anyway, again, all by design. I wanted to bring out that side of her. I wanted to bring out the look she gave me. I've seen her give so many refs that look. Like, what are you doing? You don't know me. The look she gave me, I almost ran away. But instead, she just makes me want to suit back up. I kept thinking, like, do they do fifth-year eligibility? I need to get in mad shape. Do they do fifth-year eligibility? Yeah. The opportunity to play for that woman is something I hope our young ladies will not take for granted. Some special times about to come up. Speaking of special, our baseball team is we've been hitting it out of the park in a lot of regards. They literally are.
Yeah, and Coach Brown, followed the same format that our other coaches have done with their non-region schedule, making sure they're playing the toughest competition they can play, and now they're kind of settling down into region play. So hugely excited about what's going on with our baseball program right now at the top of our region, 4 straight region wins. Yep. So they can they'll have Lanier on Friday to hopefully sweep that and put us in first place and kind of be able to drive the rest of the way out of the region, and look forward to hopefully hosting a first round playoff game. Obviously, there's a lot of baseball left to play.
No doubt.
I'm getting way ahead of myself, but we are the only ones in the regions that have played Roswell, that have played Milton, and then Lanier, which have been at the top of the region for a good while. So we put ourselves in the right place, and kudos to Coach Brown and his staff and, and his team. Again, another program that just works their butt off to put themselves in the right place. So happy for them.
The 10-0 win this week over Lanier. The latest win over Lanier, the 10-0 win at Ivy Watson Field, ensured we won our 3rd straight series in region. Put ourselves in good position.
Miller with another home run.
Dude. And complete game.
Yeah.
Struck out 6.
Anytime he pitches, he's going to hit well.
He's dialed in.
We've got a great chance.
The boys are coming around. And just like with Coach Gibbons and what we saw with basketball, when you think about the state of the program 2 years ago and where it is now, again, a testament to the coaches we brought in and their vision and here. It gives me full confidence that in 2 years we're going to see the same from volleyball, absolutely. And in 2 years we're going to see the same from basketball, and because we're just like-minded people being brought up in here.
So are we having Coach Brown on next
ever?
Week? Well,
every time we try to have Coach Brown
so
on.
I think we need to have him on next week because I want to be able to ask him. So if you didn't know, Coach Brown wasn't at the game last night. That's a whole other topic. But he wasn't at the game. Beckett got a triple. Yeah, and I hated that Coach Brown wasn't there
at third base.
Yeah. I know it's his son, and Beckett has been up and down. So I was super excited for him to pull off that triple and know that Coach Brown, watching from home, had to have at least given a good fist pump for his son.
So we've promoted Chan being on the show for 2 weeks now, and. Y'all, I swear, and this is how things happen, right? This is how things happen. I swear, we've come in and they've lost on that Monday that we've wanted to have him on the show, and we're like, we're not having him on the show. And
I'm not talking.
I ain't doing that. I don't feel like getting cussed out. I'm not doing that. But anyway, so hopefully things go the way we want them to for all Red Elephants, but baseball especially because 'tis the season. And we get to have him on next week. That's funny stuff. Anyway, we appreciate you being here with us. Again, Behind the G, for Red Elephants, by Red Elephants. We're already wherever you're listening to your favorite podcast. Follow us on social media at Go Red Elephants across all platforms. Check out our website, GoRedElephants.com. And listen, if you hadn't already, go ahead and mark your calendar for November through March next year. Make sure that you're ready to get out to watch some Red Elephant basketball, because the product that's going to be put on the floor for both the girls and the boys is going to be something pretty daggum special. But if for no other reason than to watch the juxtaposition of the behavior on the sidelines from the girls to the boys. The juxtaposition. All right, folks. Enjoy you as always. This has been Behind the G.